What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
That was the weirdest fucking voice. Was it like a normal voice to you guys?
It was to me.
Yeah, it was to me.
Okay, so because I'm using, this is Zoom on my browser or something, because this computer's so fucked up. It's like, it was like this super high, like, this is being recorded. Like I'm like, in some kind of like Japanese anime movie, and someone's going to come like flying across the screen and like kick me in the face. Anyways, this is the beginning of the podcast.
That's probably why you can't blur your screen. You don't have Zoom downloaded.
Well, this computer won't download Zoom because it's not a protected app or whatever. It's not a.
Your man Bill must be looking out for you.
Who must be?
Bill Gates. He's looking out for you and protecting your computer.
Bill Gates has always got me at the top of his mind. I know.
Yeah.
He's got a chip in me from the fucking when they forced me to take the vaccine. My chip got injected into me there, so you know. So I'm gonna run down this scenario, and then you guys tell me if I'm getting fucked here or I'm in the wrong, because I could be in the wrong. It's not like I'm not wrong about tons of shit all the time. So 4 years ago, before I'd even heard of the Canoe Museum, a decision was made to scrape up all the soil into a big pile. And even though on all the drawings it says leave the soil on site, a decision was made. This is before why is this happening? What is this? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck this is.
It's Bill Gates.
It's fucking Bill Gates. It's fucking with my computer. It's like downloading some kind of shit that's in the way. I sort of see through it, but can't. It's really fucking annoying. I hate computers so much. Anyways, it says good evening, September 3rd. I get the fuck off with the good evening. Here's a settings thing. Can I close this bitch? Maybe this thing will close it. Anyways, this is like some kind of like, oh, it's gone. Fucking stupid shit. So a decision was made that there wasn't enough room on site to keep the soil on site and continue with the construction project. So between the owner of the Canoe Museum and the contractor at the time, and the general contractor, they made a decision to haul the soil offsite, store it at the excavating contractor's yard, and then when the time was right, the landscape contractor, or I guess at the time they thought maybe the excavating contractor would haul it back. So keep in mind, this was like 4 years ago, and I had absolutely nothing to do with this process. So in that process, they loaded all the trucks from the excavator with the excavator and hauled it to this property. Then it sat there on this property for 3.5 years in a big pile, supposedly. Now, I don't know what happened to that pile during that time either. It supposedly sat on here. And then it was screened by the screener on site at the topsoil place. And then we were forced during that time, Sitescape was awarded that contract. After all this happened, then they went bankrupt. And then in the middle of the bankruptcy, the Canadian Museum begged us to take the contract because they had no one to do the work. So we said yes. And then part of the stipulation in our contract was we were absolutely forced to buy the soil from Drain Brothers, the excavating contractor. No choices, absolutely forced to buy this soil. So we coordinated with Drain Brothers. They screened the soil. And then we picked up the soil, brought it to the job site, dumped it, spread it, completed the work. Now, 3.5 months after the work has been completed, or 3 months or more since the work's been completed, in the swamp area, there is an invasive species called Phragmites growing, which are a long, tall grass. It's in every ditch in Ontario. It's everywhere. This shit is fucking everywhere.
It's called Phragmites.
Yeah, Phragmites. It's a
I've
long.
never heard of
It's a
Phragmites.
supposedly the Chinese government sent it over here decades ago in seed packets, trying to wipe out the natural habitat of Canada. It's a Eurasian grass, and it's very invasive. It puts poison. I know a lot about this now. So the Phragmites are now growing in the swamp area. And if you read about them, the only way to get rid of them is a controlled burn or completely flooding it till they die from oversaturation, because they only live in damp areas, but they won't live in a swamp. So on the drawing, in a tiny little box, it says landscape contractor responsible for invasive species.
What?
So
Should I be reading about this?
You should be looking into this. Every site you go to, you should.
I could be.
I'm telling you right now, this is going to cost me between, I don't know, low estimate, maybe 30 to 40,000. If I'm going to fight it in court. I'm going to go clean these Phragmites out once. And I told them today, if you fucking ever call me about this again, we're going to court, because I went and did an inspection on the soil storage site, and the entire place is infested with Phragmites. There's fucking barn grass and Phragmites growing out of the topsoil piles at this place. So that means everything they own, every truck, every screener, everything they own is covered in seeds from this shit. So they took the soil that had no Phragmites in it, screened it, and sold it to me full of Phragmites. Then we fucking took it and spread it under contract, restricted to only buy the soil from these people. No other choices. Make that clear. We had absolutely no choice but to buy this soil because of the indigenous properties of the soil. This soil has some kind of indigenous properties, so the soil has to come return to the site from the site. Except when it returned, it was full of this shit. Now we have a crew going there tomorrow to pull it out, but from what I can tell, it just grows endlessly and you can never get rid of it. And we are just going to keep pulling it and pulling it and pulling it. And I'm like, first of all, this shit is everywhere in Ontario. Every single place you go that has a ditch has Phragmites growing out of it. It is fucking everywhere. So the first problem is this shit could have just blown in from the road. They are now expecting.
The common name for Phragmites is common reed.
Yeah.
If it's so common, it's going to be fucking everywhere.
Because there's two types. There's the Eurasian invasive Phragmite common reed and the natural growing common reed. The natural growing common reed is a red stalk. The Asian one is a greeny blue stalk. So tomorrow, because this also became an emergency, this must be done immediately, because the Phragmites are about to seed. And if they seed, God only knows what will happen. And I'm looking around going, you know what will happen? This place will look like every other fucking place in Ontario that has a little swamp. So tomorrow, luckily, because both our crews are busy, JRC, Justin, is sending his crew out there because he had some availability to pull out all these Phragmites from the swamp. They then have to be bagged in clear plastic bags and baked in the sun. I'm like, can I just throw them with the other ones in the ditch across the street? The ditch across the street from this fucking place is absolutely fucking full of this shit. This shit couldn't have blown across the road. No, it definitely came in my soil. It's definitely me who fucking, after you forced me to buy it from these fucking moron hicks in fucking Peterborough. First of all, I have to buy it from a bunch of moron hicks in Peterborough. And then I also have to fucking, they are the ones that infected this soil. And I'm the only one that's been fucking responsible for this shit. Like, this is, so now we just got another job in Barrie. The first thing Jack did was go up there and photograph every Phragmite on the site and email it to them and say, this shit is here, not our problem, not our fault, fuck you.
And they're probably like, why the fuck does it even matter?
That's exactly what they're like. Why do we care about this? And I'm like, I don't know, because we're getting jammed up our ass. So a bunch of fucking Peterborough hillbillies haul shit in fucking infested trucks, and I gotta pay.
Is this the same landscape architect that you spoke so fondly about?
This is not her fault. She was called by the Canoe Museum because some Karen ass woman was at the Canoe Museum and saw the Phragmites and marched in there to scream and yell that they had an infestation. So then obviously the people at the Canoe Museum were like, well, we better find out about this infestation. So they called the expert that they know, the landscape architect, who had to do a report, who then told me to go pull it all out because somehow this is my fucking problem.
It's
She couldn't
destroying
come
his
to
vision.
bat for you?
What?
And she couldn't come to bat for you and say, this is literally everywhere? Let's not make a big deal out of this.
No, she couldn't come to bat for me and say, that would be too easy, Chad. That might happen for you, but that would never hatten for me.
I thought you said you liked this woman.
I do. She's great. She gave
this
us.
is not
She gave
fair.
us. I said, because it's the Canoe Museum that did this, not her. She put this. She did the report saying it
But
must
she
be
had
removed.
the power to squash it right there.
She did.
You know she did. And if she's not a friend, she's an enemy.
That's the fucking
In
truth.
this case.
But she did give us a sick residential job we're working on right now. So like she's in a bad spot because she has to write a report. So I told them we're removing these things once, but they're going to and I said today when I met with them, they're going to come back. It's an invasive species that's been going on for decades in Ontario that no one knows how to get rid of. But magically, the team at Paver King knows how to get rid of the Phragmites. No one else does. But fuck yeah, we'll come up with some solution. This is, of all the fucked up things that I've had to deal with as a commercial landscaper, this is probably the winner of fucked up things.
It's this 3-step combination of spraying herbicide, mowing, and controlled burning repeated over 3 years until the patch is eradicated.
The patch. But the problem is there's another patch growing across the street, Mike. Like the parking lot across the street is stuffed full of Phragmites. So we're going to put a bin down across in the parking lot across the street and take the Phragmites that we've pulled out and put in plastic bags and throw them into the bin right beside the Phragmites that are still growing in the ditch in the parking lot across the street.
It's unreal.
This is perhaps one of the stupidest things I've ever been involved in.
How much square feet have they infested?
Oh, so there was some soil that was stored on site there that we spread over half the pond. So half the pond, this pond area, got the soil that was kept on site. And then about halfway through, we started spreading the soil from the hillbillies. Well, the fucking right on that line where we started spreading is where the Phragmites start.
Wow.
There's none in the other half of the pond.
You just haven't gotten there yet.
They will get there eventually. I agree with you. Well, no, because tomorrow Liz from JRC is going to go pull them all out, and it's all going to be saved, Chad. I went in there today. I said, hey, we got to do a controlled burn out back. The fucking morons.
Controlled burn.
A controlled burn. That doesn't seem like something landscapers should be doing.
That's
I feel like a landscaper controlled burn can get out of control really fast.
Just ask Chad about the what was the pot fire of 2020,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, by the Great Pot Fire.
the Great Pot Fire.
Was
On
that
another
was that a
occasion,
controlled burn?
yeah, the fire department showed up and
They
watched
controlled the
it.
fuck out of it.
Yeah, they controlled it from the road. Like, yep, we're gonna watch that. Uh, my other boss, well, one of my old bosses, he set the neighbor's field on fire doing a controlled burn, and years later, I had to go to that same field and plant little spruce trees because there was no mature growth. Right, it was freshly burned, and
Especially burn.
the only thing that had grown back was stinging nettle, and I was in shorts because
Oh god.
I never thought I'd be planting little spruce trees and nipple high stinging nettle. It was a hell of a day. I almost quit.
You almost packed it in and became a barber.
Yeah. Yeah. Good thing I stuck it out.
That was the day you knew that barber school was for me.
Yeah. It was.
The
So,
other thing that happened today was that our brand new Kenworth truck died.
of course they
Really?
did. Why?
They think there's this. So this is how the shifter on the trucks on the Eaton Fuller 18-speed auto. Apparently, they're all shit, and there's a recall on them. And they put a new shifter in, and then it's fine. There's something the wires separate, but when that happens to the shifter, the truck believes that it's in drive when it's in neutral, and it won't start.
Hmm.
But if you know this is a problem, why wouldn't you replace it before the truck went out on the fucking road?
That would be too easy. That wouldn't cost anybody any money.
That wouldn't cost anyone. So it's either the shifter or they think the whole tranny's blown out of it.
Wow. Those are two very different problems.
Yeah. And I'm like, so there's only two courses of action here. This shifter thing that's a recall that breaks constantly all the time could be broken, or the whole tranny's blown. Even better, because none of these big truck places, and Kenworth is not any more guilty than the rest of them, because none of them make any of the shit that's in the trucks. Every time something happens to the trucks, they're like, oh, gonna have to call Ginkor. They put the box on it. Gonna have to call Eaton. Oh wait, the Eaton Fuller hotline is only operates 6 hours a day, and there's only one for all of North America, so it takes usually 48 hours to get back to you. But we didn't make the tranny, so we don't know how to fix it. We got to call Eaton Fuller. And it's like every time it's any big truck you buy, whoever you buy it off, whatever manufacturer, every time there's a problem, they will pass it off to one of these places. And I'm like, but I didn't pay them to put the box on. I paid you. It's your fucking problem.
Yeah.
I didn't pay Eaton Fuller for the tranny. Kenworth did. It's your fucking problem. But they don't see it the same way I do. At a bare minimum, Christy at least got it started and got it back to the dealer, so there was no tow.
Hmm.
She got it started by smashing her fist into the fucking shifter until it started.
Oh, maybe that's the troubleshoot.
Maybe that is the fucking troubleshoot. It's been a.
How much longer can she continue to smash her fist into the truck every day?
They told her, she said, can I take it home? They said, well, if it dies, it's not our fault. She's like, okay, I'll get a ride. Conveniently, on Friday, we parted ways with the individual that was driving the other triaxle dump truck. So Christy has a truck to drive.
Her old truck? No, her old truck.
No, her old truck, it got sold. This is the Blue International. The driver of that truck was terminated without cause.
What did he hit?
Nothing. He was terminated without cause.
Oh yeah, you got that 300 hours, eh?
What?
The glorious 300-hour period where you can fire them, no questions asked.
Well, you can fire someone anytime terminated without cause. You just have to pay whatever the termination fee is. So the termination fee was 1 week. Well worth it. There was no cause for it though. No cause. Terminated without cause.
Sorry to hear it didn't work out for you.
It's not that it didn't work out. There was no cause. It was working great. Terminated, no cause. I find that to be the fucking most amusing thing ever. That you can do that you're being terminated with no cause. There's no reason. Everything was fucking great. But we just don't need you here anymore. It's not even that we don't need you, because that would be a cause. Like if I say I don't need you, immediately that's a cause. So being terminated without cause, there's no explanation for the termination. Because even if you said we're slow, that's a cause. We don't need you. That's a cause. You're late all the time. That's it. That there's to be terminated without cause. I don't like. There is literally no cause. There's just literally nothing. So everything was fucking amazing, and then terminated, no cause.
The amount of times you've said terminated, no cause, makes me feel there's a little bit of a cause.
Did you
No
terminate
cause.
him without the cause, or did he terminate himself without a cause?
No, we terminated him without cause.
That's behind the firewall. No, the paywall.
That's fine.
To find out.
No, there's no there's no cause. So I just love that. You're terminated, no cause. What do you mean? There has to be but that's Ontario labor law. So fuck yeah, Ontario labor law.
So you paid him a week?
Yeah.
But you don't have to. He's new?
He was there more than 3 months. So,
so
anytime in the first year you terminate without cause, you have to give 1 week's termination pay.
Not if it's the 300 hour, less than 300.
It doesn't matter. Anytime you terminate without cause in the first, you have to give one. Legally, you're required to give 1 week.
Said, as soon as you give a cause,
then you're fucked, because then you're going to court.
Well, no, because you have 300. Oh, well, within 300 hours, you can say it's just not working out.
I have no idea. I've never heard of this 300-hour thing before in my life.
300-hour probationary period.
I thought it was 3-month probationary period.
Like 3 something.
3 months used to be the probationary period. Regardless, when you're terminating someone without cause, having to cough up a week's salary is probably cheaper than the things that were happening without cause.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm just saying. I thought it was well invested money.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Needed someone with cause last week.
Really?
Yeah.
But then you decided not to at the last second?
I decided not to because we're short on workers.
That's the worst reason to keep someone.
Yeah, I know. Imagine that's the only saving grace. Is that if we can you, we'll be hurting a little bit.
You can terminate without cause.
Well, I can terminate with cause too.
Oh, you can definitely terminate with cause.
Yeah.
It just leads to way more problems, I think.
Yeah.
Potential problems. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
My HR lady, who is also my bookkeeper, was on the phone with labor standards, employment, whatever it is. Whoever deals with that shit. She was on the phone with them for half an hour. And they're like, "Oh, you could just can them. Just can them." Like, are you sure? She's like, "Oh yeah, you can say it's just not working out, and then that's all you need to do. Pay him for a week." Wow, I thought it was a lot more complicated than that. They're telling me it's not.
Interesting.
Apparently, I thought it was more complex too, but I'm so fucking happy that it's not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hire people from now on just to terminate them without cause.
I don't know if that's the best use of your time.
Is it better use of my time pulling out Phragmites? Is that like a better use of what's a better use of my time?
I think the answer to your Phragmites thing is you get another landscape architect in there or a horticulturalist or somebody and say, "Listen, this shit's everywhere. Here's a note that says it's everywhere. Pulling it's not going to do something." Are they holding back money on you because of this?
No, they're just not paying for whatever various other reasons. This is a whole new problem.
Are you sure they're not just like, oh, we're short on money? Let's bring up Phragmites. It worked for us before.
Maybe they haven't.
The train museum or something.
They haven't said they weren't going to pay us over the Phragmite problem.
Well, that's the next conversation.
Probably, I would agree with you that as I stood there today, I was like, "Oh, this is going to affect me getting paid somehow."
Yeah.
This is so fucked up. Hey, there's some of that plant across the street. Well, I better pull it out over here. Look, there's some of that plant in the ditch over there. Well, I better fucking pull it out here. Jesus Christ, yeah.
Huh.
Only I've never heard of any other commercial contractor ever dealing with this issue.
I never have. I'm sure I probably sprayed Phragmites like straight out of the hydroseeder in one of these stupid fucking wildflower native
Probably.
mixes. There's
Yeah.
probably been Phragmites in that.
They accused us of bringing it in the terrace seed.
Wow.
Is it Chinese terrace seed?
No, they just accused us of saying you terrace seeded this area. So obviously you're the one that brought the Phragmites here. So that's when I launched an investigation into the hillbilly soil screener.
So not only are you requiring tickets to take soil places, now you're gonna need tickets to bring fresh soil to you.
If you read about it, this invasive species has been around for decades. Decades. So when I was a young boy fishing, these Phragmites were growing and planning to get me. Wait till that guy's 50. We're going to take his ass out. Just as he thinks things are going well, we're going to pop up in the swamp. That's about how it's going for me one day into the week. $300,000 truck is dead. And I'm somehow responsible for an invasive species growing where it grows.
So you could employ these caterpillars that eat invasive Phragmites. Ever think of that?
No.
No.
I did not. How much
Then
are
you
the
can terminate
caterpillars?
them without cause. Or they turn into moths and fly away.
Did you not realize as you didn't terminate that person and you're like, I'm too busy to terminate this person? This is a huge mistake. I know I'm making a I know I'm doing it. It's a big mistake, but I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah. I think about it every day. Is this the day he's gonna fuck something up so bad that I regret not firing him earlier?
I love those decisions.
It's in the back of my mind.
What was the reason why you wanted to terminate him?
I'll tell
Or
you.
was it without cause?
Without cause.
Without cause.
Without cause.
So without cause, I like the decisions where you know you've made a horrible decision and you're just waiting for it to backfire in your face and explode. And you're like, man, this was a really bad decision. But I'm going to see it through because I love watching really bad decisions that I know I made explode in my face.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite ones.
You just can't avoid it sometimes. What do you do? What do you do?
You can't avoid it. I totally agree with you 100%. I'm saying I do it all the time and then I just sit back and wait for it to blow up in my face.
Is it ever not as bad as you'd hoped or not as bad as you thought?
Sometimes. And then I feel disappointed and sad.
I'd feel happy. I'd be like, okay, that's reassuring. Let's make some more bad decisions.
You have a lot of self-belief though.
Yeah, it's one of the pillars of my existence is believing in myself.
Self-hatred and no belief in myself is the pillar of my existence. Total opposite ends of the spectrum.
But you had two successful companies.
Well, I don't deem anything I've ever done to be overtly. I think I've been a good dad. I think I've taken good care of my kid. Past that, I don't think I've ever done a lot of really good stuff in my life, but I think I did a good job at that, which is really the only thing I ever really, the rest of it is sort of irrelevant. What does
Yeah.
it matter?
Yeah, I think
She seems like a much better person than I am, and that was the only goal I had. So that's what really matters. Although I don't know how being a better person than me, I don't know how much that really takes, but you can probably open the door for an old person at Tim Hortons and qualify as a better person than me. But yeah, that's the only thing that really matters. The rest of it doesn't matter. I don't know, how did we get on this topic? Oh, you were saying that you're a pillar of self-belief. That's it.
we worked at we're working at a hospice right now, and like every time I pull up to the place, I'm like, I don't want to be at the hospice. Like nothing good happens at a hospice. Nobody has a fucking birthday party at a hospice or something, you know. Like that's the end of the line. And so we're working there. We're putting in this. We're prepping for a concrete pad that is apparently the end of the earth. They're like, this grade has to be exactly to the millimeter, and then what base are you choosing? And it's up to me to pick the base. It's like a trick question. And what base are you using? I don't know. You want to use clear? We use GA. Okay, then I'll use fucking GA. What do you want me to tell you? I'll build it however you want.
Who's questioning this with you?
The general. And then,
Oh, okay.
should we dowel this concrete in? Yeah, I would. There's old people here. Like, you don't want your last days on Earth to be like a tripping hazard or something from frost heave. Like, mind you, what's a broken ankle whenever you're fucking putting a half in the ground anyway? Um, anyway, so we're doing this concrete slab, and you wouldn't believe the smells coming out of this place. If you're gonna die, my God, the kitchen is right beside where we're doing this concrete pad, and it's the most incredible smells. Like they did butter chicken at breakfast, and like some other steak thing in the evening. Like this is unbelievable. Like you don't want to go to the hospice, but you're there and you smell the food. You're like, I could work here another couple days.
Can work here another couple of days.
Yeah.
So, you know what I thought you were going to say? What I was going to say was, oh, I can't find the line now. Where it says the best that we can hope for is to die in our sleep. Is that what you're saying about the hospice?
Yeah. That would be that's the best you can hope for. Here I am.
The best that you can hope for. It always comes back to the gambler. Whatever's going on in your life, you can always bring it back to Kenny Rogers and the Gambler. No matter what decision you have to make with your life, if you look deep into that song, the answer is there. Chad, you look like you don't believe me.
Our man Kenny? Well, I don't know about any question, but some existential questions that have to do with landscaping, yeah.
You know how there's the Seinfeld episode where George just does the opposite of everything?
Yeah.
for a whole week, I'm going to make every decision in my life based on Kenny Rogers, the Gambler. I'm going to crush out a cigarette and ask someone for a light. See how it goes. I'm going to look deep into that song and make all life decisions based off the Gambler.
What would Kenny do about Phragmites?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's see if we can find a lyric to handle the Phragmite issue.
There's whole websites dedicated to this Phragmite thing. I'm just reading up on it.
And the night got deathly quiet. How about that for the Phragmites? A night got deathly quiet. So, Mike, are you now like a Phragmite nerd?
Yeah, well, have you ever considered dropping off a bunch of cows and just letting them graze on the Phragmites? That's one option I did hear you talk about.
Drop off a bunch of cows. We should do that. I should drop a bunch of cows in there. Be like, hey, we're here to take care of the Phragmite problem.
It would be ridiculous enough to match the request.
Yeah.
Like, that's fighting fire with fire.
Yeah.
Everything else, like cutting the stalks, it just promotes more growth. So manual removal, you have to pull the whole thing out.
That's
So
not happening.
this is something new I've learned today. This is great.
I'm glad that my endless loss of money can bring you education, Mike. God.
Uh,
Maybe you should put it out there and see if any other commercial contractors have dealt with Phragmites and see what their solution was to getting paid in the end.
Dealing with Sitescape is the gift that never stops giving.
Hmm.
I'm like, when am I done with this fucked up shit from that has anything to do with? And this is like the last thing, and it's dragging on to these fucked up Phragmites. I've seen them for so long, and there's so many of them. I thought they were a naturally occurring plant. Did you know that they were an invasive species? I guarantee you drive by them every day.
I had no clue.
Mike probably even drives by them. They're probably in downtown Toronto.
probably.
Welcome to my existence. It's a good one.
I have a quote here, guys, that we can rate from a scale of 1 to 5. If you guys want to do this really quick.
Sure.
Yeah. This came up on a couple of days ago. I thought it was a great one. But let's see what you guys think about it. So 1 to 5, can't use 3. Believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see.
Nothing you hear?
Believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see.
How do you learn anything? You don't believe anything you hear.
We didn't say about read. Is
Well,
reading seeing?
so no one should believe anything from this.
What if I was reading with Braille? Well, believe half of what you see. So if you're reading something, you can see it, right?
So if
So I
you're
should only
blind,
believe
don't.
half of that. So if I'm blind and I'm using Braille, I'm not seeing anything. I'm feeling. I'm feeling it. So does that mean I should believe 100% of what I feel, even though if I could read it with my eyes, I shouldn't believe it? Half of it? So if I read the newspaper, physically look at it and read it, I should only believe half of what I see. But if I use Braille, I believe it all.
And if someone read it to you, you can't believe any of it.
That's true.
You listen to this podcast, you shouldn't listen. You shouldn't believe any of it, unless you watch it on YouTube, and then you could believe half of it.
This is the shittiest quote I ever heard.
Especially if there was subtitles.
Yeah,
Why did you pick this quote? It is super bad.
I thought it was a great quote.
Seriously?
I think it's a great quote.
I think it's a great quote.
We just picked it apart.
I still think it's a great quote.
What do you think
I think it's even become more and more. So this is a quote by Edgar Allan Poe. So this is a very old quote, and I think it's only become more and more. I think if you take it very literally, and pick it apart like we just did, then perhaps it's not a great quote. But if you think of social media and you think of AI, what AI is going to bring, I think it's a very timely quote that has only become more and more relevant as time has gone on. It's a 100-plus-year-old quote.
So you're saying that because of...
I think if you scroll through social media, you'll find people talking a whole bunch, and you never know what's kind of going on in the background. So you don't really know whether or not you should listen to them. But the more people can show you visually, maybe you can believe half of it. But even still, you can't believe all of it. But I think if you take it literally, like literally don't listen to anything, and half of what you actually see, then it's not a great quote. But figuratively, I like it. I give it a 5.
Chad?
It's a 1 from me. This doesn't do it for me.
I think it's a 2. I think it's a 1. I don't like it either. I literally made fun of it. It's hard for me to give it. Oh, that guy should have just stuck to writing about birds. Quoth the Raven.
The Raven.
There's a YouTube video that I made once. It's on the Ridge Lake YouTube channel, I think. And we went around Landscape Ontario Congress to every booth or a lot of booths and got someone to say one line from the poem, and then I cut it all into a video. And so it's the entire Raven poem read by different individuals from Landscape Ontario.
We were going to do that with Chad's poem.
Yeah, same idea. Yes. But I did make it happen that time. I was more ambitious back then. I was a little bit more ambitious. We had such a great week last week. Like everything went really good. And it made me think, man, maybe things didn't go good. Maybe I'm just, in my mind, I'm just cleaning it up. But
well, in comparison to this week and the Phragmites last week,
so much shit happens though. I think that when you work for yourself, so much shit happens to you in a day that like stuff just. Do you even have any memory of something really bad that happened to you a month ago?
No.
Do you have any memory of something that happened to you a month ago? Like,
Nope.
I mean, like a direct memory, like, or is it just all one big blur of getting up, going to work, getting up, going to work?
One blur. You're right.
Yeah.
I had this guy call me today and said, "Hey, it's Mark. I'm ready to go ahead with my project." I'm thinking, what? And I'm looking at my phone for a Mark, and I'm like, there's no one there that I gave a quote to. And then looking through my email, I'm like, who's Mark? He's like, yeah, I'm ready to go ahead. Let's discuss this. And it's like, I have no clue who this guy is.
I had a full conversation with somebody, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Hey, Mike, it's Ed from Guelph. How you doing? And I did a job for Ed from Guelph 3 years ago. This is a double gar situation. I'm like, oh, I'm doing great. How you been? And we got into like a full conversation. He's like, at the end of it, he's like, are you coming out tomorrow to be able to hook up my dryer? And I was like,
no.
Ed, why are you asking me to hook up your dryer? He's like, yeah, you're coming out to hook up the dryer. We talked about it like last week or something. And Ed, I think we were talking about like something you called the wrong number or something. But he even had my name, Mike. And then he asked like, oh, is this the electrical company? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's a landscaping company.
God.
I would have told him, yeah, I'll be there to hook it up.
That would have been a much easier course of action, I think.
Yeah.
To just say, I'll be in there hooking it up.
Yeah, I'll be there. You can set your watch on me.
You can set your watch on me. You were in a double Ed situation.
Not just a double Ed situation, but a double Mike situation, which is probably a lot more common. But the fact that those two both lined up.
I tell everyone.
I have a double Mike situation at my work.
Really?
Yeah, 2 mics.
I can tell you. I'll tell you a story how I solved my double mic situation at work, but you tell me yours.
What did you do? You released him without cause?
Terminated without cause. No, I was too mean back then, so I had a different solution. What was your solution to the double mic situation?
Well, now we have a mic and we have a mic plus.
Is mic plus heavier?
No.
Oh,
it might have to do with work ethic.
Work ethic.
Yeah.
So This is back when I may have not been as good a person as I am now. And so this back in the day at Ridge Lake, this guy started and he came walking in and he said, "Hi, my name is Mike." And I looked at him and said, "There's only one Mike here. You'll now be known as Mark." So for the rest of the time he worked there, everyone called him Mark. No one called him Mike. And then one day, Dean showed up, walked on site, and said, "Yo, Mark, come over here." And the guy went fucking crazy. He was like, "You're the boss, and you don't even know my name. My name is." Guy was so pissed. He ended up fucking quitting over it, and then he got stabbed in jail and died.
Wow.
I know that part of the story is less
That's
shocking.
in jail.
So obviously, someone was meaner to him than me, but obviously did not have a blessed existence.
Maybe it followed him into jail. People calling him Mark. He's
Mark.
had enough.
My name is Mike. Not anymore. Your name is now Mark.
Did you ever give someone a nickname so good that it stuck
Oh,
beyond?
lots of times.
That's great.
Beyond the company, I don't know. We had a guy that looked exactly like Danny DeVito, so we used to call him the Penguin. Short little guy. No, the first day he started, we were doing these pavers on the corner of a main street, and it was me, this Penguin, and fucking this guy Kaz, and the the Penguin guy, like I think his real name was Jeff. He was at the corner, and it was just the three of us. It was like his first day working or something, or his first day with Kaz. And he said something kind of stupid about how we were doing the grading, or you should be doing like this. And Kaz literally turned around and went, "Shut up, Penguin man." And I just called the guy Penguin from then on. It's branded as the Penguin. And then that guy's actual last name was Stukenbrock. But everyone used to call him Stucken Park as well. "Yo, Stucken Park, come over here," because he was so fucking slow at everything. Oh,
Oh man.
We had on one of our sites, this guy he just left the shitter, the porta john on site, and I went in there, like, wow, he made a mess of the fucking thing, right? So he was new to construction. He was a carpenter working at one of the same jobs that we were working at. So I left and I'm like, "Wow, you're a stinky pooper." And his name, to this day, 4 years later, 2 companies later, is still Stinky Pooper.
oh my god! Who wants that to follow you around?
Yeah,
That's a hell of a name.
that is.
That's a hell of a name.
Yeah. My buddies my workers, sorry, have a friend whose nickname is Sour Load. And I think that has to be one of the worst nicknames I've ever heard.
That is a bad nickname.
Like, I can't think of a worse nickname to be called anywhere in life.
There was it was actually pre-breakup. He was my brother-in-law, and he worked with us, and he started with us when he was 14, I think. And so we used to all ride around in this big dirty van back then. And so he was like in the backseat of the van, and a cab over transport went by us, and he was like, "Man, that's a cool box head. You should check that out. Check out the box head." And then we all went, "What? You fucking box head?" And then everyone called him box head for like, I don't know, 10 years. Like his father. He was part of my family, and we'd be at like gatherings. He'd be like, "Boxhead, come over here." Everyone called him Boxhead.
Boxhead.
Boxhead for.
I've never heard a gambler called Boxhead.
I have a buddy that he looks exactly like Meatloaf, and we call him the Loaf. Loaf, what are you up to?
The Loaf.
The Loaf.
That
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. A bunch of people call me PK.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that bad though.
No.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know what the guys call me behind my back. It doesn't matter.
What do you care?
Yeah,
You're a pillar of self-confidence.
I try.
Okay?
Taking me this far in life.
It has a strong belief in yourself or a strong hatred in yourself. If you really hate yourself or you really love your or you really believe in yourself, you probably have positive. You probably turn out to have a decent life. But if you're in the middle where you kind of hate yourself and you kind of like yourself, you're fucked.
Hmm.
You don't have enough drive. If you believe in yourself, you believe you believe so much that you're on the right path, you have enough drive to complete the task. Or if you hate yourself so much that you believe you can never finish the task and you have to prove yourself wrong, you'll finish the task. But if you're in the middle, and you
What's that?
kind of like yourself and you kind of don't, you probably take 2 steps forward and 2 steps back all the time, and you never get ahead.
Hmm.
Self-hatred can drive you far.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never hated myself, I don't think.
I don't remember ever waking up in the morning and not
Really?
ever my whole life. I think you're just born with it. I think you're right. I like you're saying I don't. It's never happened to you. It's never occurred to you. And I think there's people that are like that. And then there's probably something that occurs to you every day, or thing that never would occur to me.
Probably. I think I do you really get up 2 feet on the ground in the morning and hate yourself?
Oh yeah,
That's a hell of a way to live, man.
I gotta fucking pull myself out of it. I'm like, why the fuck did I fuck up my back so much when I was a kid? Why was I doing this?
Holy.
Well, I also wake up in a mass amount of pain because anytime I remain in one position for a long time, there's a lot of pain involved with that.
When does that
So,
start?
oh, I don't know. I don't remember it ever not existing. First time I hurt my back really, really bad, I was like 15, 16.
Really?
Maybe older. I don't know. Yeah, I was young, under 18. First time I really hurt my back. I don't remember not living in some kind of back pain for as long as I've been alive or some kind of other pain. Now my hip sometimes hurts.
Hmm.
I find the seating position in the Dodge truck hurts my hip less than the seating position, the height wise, and in the Chevy truck.
Could it
Because
be
the Chevy seats go a lot lower.
hmm.
So
I don't
maybe
know.
this Dodge truck's good for my posture. Do you think your posture is better in the Ford?
With the massage?
Yeah.
Probably. Probably loosens you up a bit.
Do you use it every day?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was hot enough this morning that I could put the heat feature on with the massage.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you think
It's
you'll
at
ever be able to own another vehicle without a massaging seat?
not unless Ram doesn't put them in their next update.
Why would you buy a Ram when you love the Ford so much?
I don't like I don't adore this truck.
If Ram had changed the front grille so it was distinctly different, would you have bought a Ram?
I may have, yeah. Yeah, I may have.
When I first started driving the Ram, I didn't like it very much. Now I really like it. I can't imagine buying a different truck.
Yeah, it was just so like simple. You get in, hit the button, it starts up. It doesn't ding at you because your fucking seatbelt's not on. Uh, it doesn't tell you there's a trailer attached. Watch out. The collision system's not fucking calibrated or whatever. Like it doesn't slam on the brake whenever I'm backing out of the driveway and there's a car coming. Like there's just so much shit on this Ford that maybe you can turn it off. I don't know. I haven't spent that much time. Like instead of being able to hit the button a lot,
On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rate the reality that you actually spend time and figure out how to shut all this stuff off versus you just leave it and then get rid of the truck
if I'm waiting on a meeting
because
or
you don't like
something
it?
like that, whenever I have no other
Okay, yeah. So it's
like that's I'm not going.
Do you think you would ever spend time to figure it out? Are you more likely to figure that shit out or sell the truck in 2 years
Sell it in 2 years for
than
sure.
figure out
Oh, yeah.
figure out how to shut off the stuff you don't like?
So in order to like auto start this truck, I used to be able to click the button twice and it would auto
Yes.
start, like on my old Fords, right? On this one, well, you have to download the app and you have to fucking put in your VIN number and then calibrate the two. And needless to say, I didn't get that far yet. So I'm getting in the truck in the morning with it still cold and hitting start and just fucking off because I haven't taken the time to calibrate it with my phone so that my phone can. Why do you need your phone to start your truck?
What kind of
The
calibration?
Bob has been fine for the last 20 years.
What needs to calibrate?
I don't know. It says you have to. I'm sure you gotta sit in the dash and make sure that the numbers are right and punch in the code and
Oh,
yeah, you gotta have it started. All shit I didn't do.
oh shit! I didn't do.
All shit I didn't do.
Do you think someone other than you is having a better user experience with their Ford pickup truck?
Probably someone who like. I know it's a work truck, but it's not meant to work in, right? Like they're babying you. You have this little dial you can turn to back up the trailer and shit. Like if you're driving a 1-ton truck and you can't back up the trailer, maybe you should not have a big truck.
So the Ford F-150s, the center thing opens out into a compute, like, and you can hold your computer on it or something. Does yours do that?
No, no.
Really?
Well, not that I know of. It doesn't have like a little tray or anything like that.
Yeah, you can fold the center console in a way in the F-150s to hold your laptop for you.
Yeah, I don't think this one does.
How could it not?
Well, maybe it does. I
How's-
didn't sit through the whole spiel of, oh, this truck does this and this. I said, give me the keys. I gotta go. I already spent an hour doing the paperwork. I don't need the rundown. I already don't like it as much as my last truck.
Have you ever wondered why you went through this?
Well,
It's like I don't like it as much as my last truck.
I'm like, oh, I'll probably get to like it and it'll be great. I mean, it is a very nice truck, you know. Some people would die to have a truck like that, but I don't know.
The only
I
thing I don't like about them is I find the front of them looks really heavy, and then that makes the box look really small.
yeah.
That's the only thing that I looked at them. The lights in the front are neat.
Yeah, that might be. It's like whenever you put weight in it or like on for towing, the ass end of it drags too, like it sags. I'm like, this doesn't
Oh
look.
yeah.
The Ram never sagged.
Did your Ram have air suspension?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why. Pushes it back up.
yeah, which is a nice feature. The Ford just
Would you take that over the truck slamming on the brakes in the driveway?
what the saggy ass?
No, I'm saying, would you take the air? What would you?
Would I take the good Ram feature or two shitty Ford features?
That's what I'm saying. Would you get rid of the shit? Like what features? How many features would you get rid of to get airbags in the
Have
Ford?
airbags?
Does
The
Ford not
length,
have that as an option?
not in no, I don't think they do. You can put aftermarket airbags in, which I
Yeah,
might,
absolutely you can. Just
but
get some bigger rims.
yeah, I gotta change the rims. That's stupid. But then you have to
Get
change
spinners.
the tires. Not spinners. So you're in it for $4,000, just changing rims and tires.
Yeah, absolutely you are.
I'm like, okay, I'll
Potentially,
do it, but I don't want to do it right now. How
you
many
could
kilometers can I put on these tires and still sell them as new tires?
as takeoffs. That's what you call them,
Yeah.
takeoffs.
Yeah,
Sell them as takeoffs. I got a set of takeoffs. I don't know. How many kilometers have you put on?
2,000.
I think you're past. I don't
I
think you
think
can
so.
call them takeoffs anymore.
Whenever you put that quarter in there, do you think it knows 2,000 kilometers from 10,000 kilometers?
I don't know. How fast? What kind of tires are they?
Continentals? I don't know. What do they put on a?
Continentals. I think 2000 matters on a set of Continentals.
I think so.
They're a set of Toyos. I tell you, you probably never know. A set of Continentals. I don't know. What kind of kilometers are a set of Continentals good for? I don't know if I've ever had a set of Continentals. Sounds like a car.
Maybe I could be wrong. It could be Centennial or something that starts with a C.
Centennials.
It,
So on the weekend, I went up to the yard to clean out the terminated without cause person's truck, and while I was there, it's a restoration shop or whatever, and they had bought a bunch of, but they're restoring like tractor trailers, and they had bought a bunch of Chinese 22.5-inch tractor tires, like highway tires, and they were trying to get them on the rims, and it just because the tires are thin and there's a whole bunch of reasons why it wasn't working. Anyways, it wasn't working. But then they were like getting ether and lighting it up. So I was like recording it with my phone going, I am going to get my viral moment. But then it got to the point where I was like, well, what if we do this? And I started helping. And I was like, man, now I'm going to be in the viral moment. Fuck.
so did you get the Chinese tires on?
So while I was there was one of 8 on. And then I left. But when I was in the shop this morning, all 8 were on. So at some point, there was a much greater point of success than had been currently happening when I was there. Maybe it had something to do with me. Maybe I was the one leading them down the unsuccessful path. I don't know.